What's up, everybody? Hope everybody's doing good tonight. Got a couple of things that we're going to talk about tonight. One is going to be the Bash Bunny Mark II that I just picked up. Another one is going to be just some stuff that's been going on in the cybersecurity world, and also DEF CON coming up. We got badges. Looks like this year, did they send us a MIDI controller? All that and more. Let's dive right in. Alrighty. So I'm going to switch to this camera here. What we have here is the Bash Bunny Mark II with the new DEF CON badge this year. So there's some pretty cool stuff going on here. Give me 1 second. I'm going to switch over to another mic. Okay, hopefully everybody can hear me. So some of the really cool things here is this piece right here is touch sensitive, and it's a volume controller. And then these four keys can be remapped, and they are RGB. You can change the colors of the RGB. It's actually pretty interesting. It's kind of really interesting that they kind of set that, because for streamers, this is actually kind of like a mini stream deck almost. You know, like it's got a MIDI control, like it's MIDI mappable, so we can kind of set those to hotkeys. I think after DEF CON, I'm probably going to be using it for, you know, kind of sound effects and things like that. It's going to be interesting to see what other people do. And there's also badge challenges that are coming up. I think they'll probably be released around Thursday, Friday. So new firmware, stuff like that, and then some challenges for those badges. There's also a couple of other badges that are available. This is the one. This is like the main one, and then kind of the villages also have some different badges. Tonight we're going to talk about the Bash Bunny, which is the little Hack 5 USB port underneath there. And I have been kind of working on a proof of concept for the Bash Bunny in regards to the Amazon Web Services and kind of that cloud stuff. So I'm gonna kind of bring this up now, and we'll kind of just run through this real quick. I've got the files here. Let's pull up our files. Kind of large. Okay, so I guess let's actually kind of show you what it does first, and then from there we can kind of go into what it's like the code kind of behind it. So the goal that I wanted to accomplish here was I wanted something that would kind of start to systematically disable the antivirus and firewall protections that are built into Windows, and I wanted to kind of set it up, set up a staging process where it would check to like AWS to a C2 instance, and kind of wait there for the next signals to come down. So that was kind of the goal, and anybody who's been following on the Discord will probably know that I've kind of got it working the way I want to. Again, it's proof of concept, so it's not 100% of the way there. A lot of what I've done, I've kind of slowed down so that way we can kind of go through the process. But for the most part, the system kind of works the way I want it to. So I'm going to switch to the Windows box, which is going to be and in just a few seconds, we'll kind of start watching the payload kind of deploy. And then I'll go over step by step exactly what's happening here once we, kind of pull up the code and kind of run through the code directly. So essentially what we're trying to do here is real-time protection is something that we can disable from command line once we have, or from PowerShell once we have an instance up. But one of the things that we can't do is disable tamper protection from a script. That has to be done directly on the device. There's really no other way to kind of do that. And so that's pretty much it. That's the whole payload. At this point, if we switch over to the Mac instance, I can swing into terminal here. And then if I connect, run the client, I'm in. At this point, we can go to listeners and list. And then there you go. So this 172.31.7.125 colon 443 is my computer here. If we go to modules, we can do kind of a rickroll on the machine. And so I'll switch back over to Windows box. Actually, that one's not going to be a good one because it's audio and we're not going to pick up the audio. So we're going to do run boo, or what is it? Let's do a list. And then let's pick us a, there is a, okay, so Boo Thunderstruck, which is a pretty cool one. We're going to do that one. So Boo slash run Boo. Why are we not switching? It's going to be use Boo slash Thunderstruck. And what I've noticed is I got to do it twice before it'll actually switch. And now we can run and then pop the box that we're looking for. Let's switch back over to the Windows box. There we go. We see the command has executed, and then just a few seconds, we're going to see Windows pop up, or Microsoft, maybe Internet Explorer. I think it runs Internet Explorer for this. Let's just check it out. There it goes. It's pulling up YouTube. It's got all this lovely Edge stuff because we don't actually use Edge on this machine. And then it's going to run the official music video for Thunderstruck. It's a good proof of concept just to kind of show that we've got access to this. I'm using on the C2 side this open source software called Silent Trinity. I don't necessarily know that that's going to be the best use case for this moving forward, but it was an easy one to kind of get the proof of concept out. So let's go through the actual code and kind of see everything that's kind of showing here. So let me just minimize this and this, and then we're going to open up this payload. I'm going to actually open it in BBEdit. See. I'm going to just want to fix the display settings. Try to get this again. Let's do this one more time. I want to make sure that y'all guys can see what's going on here. This should probably be a lot better if I had to guess. Yeah, that's gonna work. Okay, let me know if y'all can read. Yeah, it looks like this is gonna be perfect. Okay, so with the Bash Bunny, so I guess let's start off with what the Bash Bunny is. The Bash Bunny, if we go to Hack5 website, so the Bash Bunny is basically a Linux box that's kind of baked into like a flash drive form factor. If you are familiar with a USB rubber ducky, it kind of does all of the stuff that a rubber ducky can do and more. So it's actually a really neat tool, in the cyber security industry, and it kind of allows you to do things that while you may be able to do with a rubber ducky, you can kind of optimize with a Bash Bunny. And then it has some things that the rubber ducky can't do. So one of those things is this acts as a hardware interface device, an HID, but it also can act as a mass storage device. It can act as a network NIC. It can do a ton of things, and it's just a matter of how you're kind of programming it. So for what we're doing, we're actually using 2 of, I think, the 5 or 6 different features of the Bash Bunny. We're basically turning it into a hardware interface device, so basically a keyboard, and then we're turning it into mass storage here. So if we run down this command, LED setup is just a command that's going to change the LED color, just to kind of let you know that it's done booting and it's starting to go through the process of configuring the Bash Bunny. So first thing it's going to do is get the switch position. So what position is the switch actually in? Because Bash Bunny has 2 attack modes, or payloads, payload modes, I guess. And then what it's going to do is go into and actually set the type of device that we want it to kind of emulate. So hardware interface device and mass storage. Then we're going to change the LED color. This is really just for us to know kind of where we're at in this payload. And it's going to start running some keyboard commands. And the reason why I've had to do it this way, and there probably is a lot, there's definitely some things that we can do to clean this up, make it faster. But one of the big things here, if we go back to the Windows box, is this tamper resistance here. So what tamper resistance is going to do is it's going to prevent us from running scripts to turn off mainly the real-time protection. It's really one of the big things that with tamper protection on, we can't turn off real-time protection, which means that when we're trying to run these commands, if we haven't gone through and done really good obfuscation, Defender is going to pick it up, ping it, and typically delete the script or the file, whatever the case may be, because it deems it as a virus, right? So going back to the Mac box, what it's going to do is it's going to run Q Windows. So it's going to hit the Windows key, sleep for a second. So just kind of hold off. And then it's going to type in tamper, which is going to pull up, the tamper protection, window. It's going to sleep for a second, then hit enter. So it'll actually run the tamper. Then it's going to space, which is going to kind of flip that toggle inside the Windows security window. And then it's going to, when you do that, Windows is going to prompt you with a dialog box saying, are you sure you want to do this? And then right here, what we're going to see is Alt-Y, which is going to be essentially acting like you're clicking the button yes. Then we're going to tab down 4 places because that's where real-time protection is. Tamper protection. And we're going to turn tamper protection off using the same basically system. So Q, which is short for quack. It's ducky script language. So Q space. So hit the space bar. Alt F4. We don't normally need to do this because we've already authenticated up here. I just kept that in there just in case. And at that point, we've got real-time protection turned off and tamper protection turned off. I could have skipped real-time protection and basically wrote the command to turn off real-time protection in the next kind of PowerShell script that I have. I just didn't end up doing that, mainly because I wanted to watch kind of everything happen, and this way it was an easy way for me to kind of see that real-time protection was in fact turned off. So then what it's going to do is it's going to run Windows PowerShell, and it's going to run as root. And then again, we're going to get prompted by another dialog box asking us if we want to confirm. We're going to say yes. We're going to sleep a few seconds, and then we're going to run PowerShell payload, our PowerShell script R, which is the first script. And what this is going to do is it's just a very simple command. It's basically going to add an exclusion path to Windows, like the virus scanner, and basically our Windows Defender, and basically tell it to not look at the C drive. So this is going to help us in the future in the event that Windows Defender turns itself back on. And so we're just kind of adding that exclusion. It's just one of those things that I like to do typically anytime that I'm building out something like this, mainly because Defender is kind of funny. Like a lot of times it'll just home out, especially on updates, and turn itself back on because it deems that it should be on. So adding this exclusion path is going to allow it to turn itself back on, but then basically not look at the entire C drive. So it's not going to scan for viruses on anything that's in the C drive. So if you download something from the download, like from the web, and it goes to your downloads folder and it's on the C drive, Windows Defender is just going to basically say, okay, well, I'm not looking there, so I'm not even going to check to see if it's a good or bad file. And then this command basically is just going to run it. So this will type it in, and then this will run it. And you can kind of see that. You can kind of see that here. You see that first command, source equals gwmi. That's basically the bash bunny typing that all in, and it's basically pointing it to that folder path. And then the second piece is basically just running the script. Same thing for the second PowerShell script, P, but P is actually the, let's just pull this up. P is going to be the PowerShell script to actually connect to Silent Trinity. So this is going to kind of run. I think in actual practice, we want to run this in a wrapper, or run this in its own individual kind of instance, and have that instance kind of run its startup, so we don't have to keep the PowerShell window open. That's something that I would do, and if I was actually going to deploy this. But the real world use case for this that I was trying to build out was, I wanted something that I could socially engineer my way into a building, either be via like asking them to, kind of print something for me, or, whatever the case may be. And then basically pop the box, but without, doing anything crazy that's going to set off alarms. further on down the road. I think in the future, what I would do is actually take this and run it on probably on the dark web, so using like a Tor browser, because a lot of times Tor is not really disabled on a firewall level, so I can get away with a lot of traffic there. And then one of the PowerShell scripts would basically be to set up that the connection to that .onion address for me to actually kind of start working through or connecting back to the C2. Ideally, what I wanted was something that I could deploy on a lot of machines prior to actually running the the true payload that I was trying to do. So basically these machines would essentially just sit dormant for however long it took me to acquire enough machines within the organization, and then kind of run those payloads all at once across the entire network of devices that I had gained access to. So I mean, you can see that this is extremely powerful stuff. We can, if we're interested, I can walk through the process of setting this up on Amazon Web Services. I've got this instance up here. I can basically kill this, so we're just going to action terminate the instance, terminate, and so now that's going to delete, and once it does, we will be able to kind of launch a new instance. One of the things that we talked about last time was security groups. There's a couple of things that we need to do here. Some of the stuff you don't need to do. I basically turned on HTTPS. That's one of the things you're going to have to do, or HTTP, depending on the type of traffic that you're pushing back to connect to the Silent Trinity. The other stuff is pretty much not needed except for SSH. You're going to need SSH to SSH into this. And then the other thing that you want to do is set up an elastic IP, because without this, anytime you reboot your web services instance, it's going to get a new IP address. So we're going to go through real quick, and I've basically have all of these files available within our Discord. I'm going to throw it in the I'll make a proof of concept folder, and I'll throw it in there. It's going to have the tutorial to get Silent Trinity up and running, which is going to be here. And then in here, there's a couple of commands that are incorrect. One of them is this command here, and the other one is, I think, this command here. It may just be this one command, but this command is definitely wrong. You're going to try and run it and it's not going to work. So what we're going to do is, what I did was I actually fixed that command here for you. So that's the command that you're actually going to run when you get to that point. These guys are using like 10.0.0.250 or 10.0.0.2. I just homed and it was totally fine. So 127.0.0.1, because you're connecting into this box from the same instance. So we've closed our thing. So let's actually launch a new instance. We're going to select Kali here. I'm going to choose my instance type. I'm just going to select the free tier. All this stuff is fine. Storage is fine. I don't need to add any tags. I'm just not going to. I'm going to select an existing security group because I already have this Silent Trinity group set up. Again, remember that really the only two protocols you need is SSH, which will be there by default, and then either HTTP or HTTPS, depending on how you're you're opening up this box to allow your machines to connect into it. So we're going to review and launch. We'll go ahead and launch, and then I'm going to select my key pair because we'll need that to connect in. And then we've got just a couple of things that we need to do once this kind of opens. The first is, if we go back to our instance, we need to basically assign our Elastic address. I'm going to go to Elastic IPs. I'm just going to release this one. We'll just create a new one. To associate it with this instance. There we go. Okay, so now we can go back here. We can go to running, and I'm already in the /AWS folder, which H. And here is my my key to connect to this machine. So I am going to SSH into this as the user Kali, but I need to change the IP address to that public IP address there. So 44.196.44.167. And then we're going to say yes. And now we're in. So cool. So what's the next thing that we need to do? Well, if we go through the installer or the tutorial, the first thing that I'm always going to do is I'm going to sudo space dash sudo su space dash. Is that right? Yeah. Okay, so now I'm root, and then I'm just going to apt get update. And this shouldn't take too long. The next part may just take a few minutes to do because we are just on, that micro tier. So apt-get /upgrade. I could have done space -y. And then this is going to run. So this is just going to take a few minutes to kind of finish. It's just going to upgrade the Kali instance that we've got here. We're going to get this. We can just escape. Okay. we're not actually going to use that, so no big deal. And we're just going to let this do its thing. In the meantime, do we have any questions? Any questions? No questions. Okay. Well, while we're waiting, I did manage to, on just totally unrelated stuff, I did manage to score this week some 3090 cards from Best Buy. So I ended up picking up 5 3090 cards from Best Buy, which now means that my crypto rig is running at pretty decent hash rate. So I'm pretty excited about that. And other than that, I've just kind of been working on this proof of concept and kind of waiting for the DEF CON stuff to get released. So the DEF CON's this Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which will be pretty interesting. There's I know that we talked about this last week, but there's a lot of stuff that's happening in regards to the Mac OS this DEF CON. So I'm kind of really excited about that, to kind of see what we're actually going to see come out of those talks. And then the badge stuff is going to be pretty interesting as well. I also started setting up Kubernetes today. That'll be a follow-up video. I think what we're going to end up doing is throwing some instances of like Hack the Box or something equivalent to that for our community to kind of work on, but we'll go through that in another video probably next week. We'll just kind of run through setting up Kubernetes, run through putting on these boxes, and hopefully having basically a pool of these boxes that we can spin up 1 or 2 each week, maybe with different kind of experience levels, so like some easy ones, some harder ones, and then maybe start giving away some some prizes for popping the boxes. So that's kind of what's going on my end. We are kind of still running through our updates here, but I think we're getting close to finishing. And then, from there, we're just going to run through a quick install of Silent Trinity. It's actually a pretty simple install. Nothing too crazy here, so that should go relatively smooth. And I think I'm going to do a next week we'll do a, like a let's through this kind of like a dark web tutorial. What is it, how to get to it, how to host a website on it, and how to kind of utilize it for for instances where we're homing back to an AWS box and things like that. Okay, so we finished our install. Let's do a reboot real quick. And then we're going to jump back in. Let's just do a ping just to see when it actually comes back up. I guess while we're waiting for this, did anybody see the Justice Department this week kind of officially announced that the SolarWinds attack that happened targeted some district attorneys? Because this is something that I have been, or federal prosecutors. This is something that I had been talking about, amongst, friends in the industry for a while, which is that attorneys really, I've always felt, are one of the lower hanging fruits. They typically do not spend the money on, cybersecurity, and they also feel like they know better. So they don't even practice best practices most of the time, which means that they're really easy to kind of get into. The problem with that is, especially when we're talking about prosecutors or defense attorneys that are actually going to trial, is you can actually end up leaking information that's pertinent to an investigation or a case. That's really going to start causing huge issues moving forward. I know that we were talking about, I think last stream, about how there are certain countries where it doesn't matter how that the information is obtained, if the information is factual and true, then that information can be used for in court hearings, which ended up resulting in a lot of attorneys there getting hacking each other to try and get as much information as possible on their counterparts side of the aisle. So it's definitely interesting. I'm glad that it's starting to come out into the world, and we're starting to see as much as it sucks that these guys got hacked, hopefully it kind of sends up some alarms to other attorneys and on the prosecution side and the defense to kind of maybe start tightening up their their networks, to kind of prevent stuff like this. Okay, so we're back in now. I'm gonna go back to super user or root, and then we're gonna cd to the opt folder, and we're gonna do a git clone https lab github.com/secure auth corp/impacket. And what we're doing is we're installing impacket, which is needed for Silent Trinity. So we're going to cd into impacket. Then we're going to pip install -r space requirements .txt. We need to install pip. Okay, and then so now we've kind of fulfilled everything that we need to install Silent Trinity. So we're going to go ahead and do that next. So now we're going to do app. I think we've already done this. I don't think we need to do the app install python -pip. Pretty sure that piece that we just did that. We can confirm. Yeah, already installed. Okay, so now we're going to get clone https github.com/byt3bl33d3r/Silent Trinity. I'm going to cd into Silent Trinity, and then we're going to install it. Okay, perfect. This command's no longer going to work. This was written a little bit earlier. So the next thing we need to do is kind of set up a team server, which we know that this command is wrong. So we're just going to go here, grab the right command. I don't need sudo because I'm already root. Okay, so now we got the team server running. I need to now open up a new terminal window. I need to see back into AWS. Nope. And then I need to SSH. Let's just do it again. So SSH space dash I space Cali at what is our IP address? 44.196.44.167. Okay. All right, and then I'm gonna switch this to root. Okay, so we're gonna keep this kind of up and running because this is just our team server. Logs, we'll be able to see stuff as it happens. Now let's go back to the command control, and then now we need to log in as the client. So if we go here and we grab this, now you can do this without being root. If you do this without being root, you're gonna run into an issue a little bit further down. So either sudo or just run the sudo su, which is switch user, to root. I need to actually change directories to opt in-packet silent trinity. Oh. Python 3. Okay, cool. So you see right here, it's going to say, sorry about that. Let me redo that just in case we didn't see that. Okay, so I need to change directories into opt in packet silent trinity because that's where silent trinity is. And then I am going to run the st.py, which is a Python script client, and pass it the info to log in. You want to do this as root. This is what I was saying. Do this as root, otherwise we're going to run into some issues. So we know that it's connected because on the server side we see the new client connected, and then at the bottom here we see our kind of status. A lot of times if this is not running, you'll end up getting a disconnected error down here. And that's just going to basically say, hey, we're disconnected, we're not connected to Silent Trinity. So we've already started the team server, we've already connected to it. Now we can start a listener. So, and at this point, I'm just going to go down to here. This is going to be a little bit easier for us. And then, so the listener is going to basically tell us which protocol to use for to listen in on for traffic coming back to us. So in this case, we're going to be HTTPS. You can do a list here, or help, and it's going to show you the commands. So if we do a list right now, there's nothing running, so we get nothing back. But if we do a use HTTPS, and now we do a list, we see HTTPS as an option here. And then, well, we're not actually running, so we need to actually start it. Now if we list, we've got HTTPS there. So next thing we're going to do is build the stager. This is going to be one of those things. There's a couple of different ways to deploy this on an instance. So we have PowerShell, which is a PowerShell script, DLL. We can get the stager in C#. We can do a PowerShell stage list, which is what we're going to do. Shellcode, exe, so on and so forth. So I'm going to use PowerShell stage list, and then I'm going to generate that with HTTPS in mind. So this is the part where if you did not run this client as root, this will fail. So you will not be able to kind of get what you need to get out of it. So I'm going to put this up here because we're kind of done with this for right now. Now what we need to do is we need to grab that file. So I'm going to open up yet another terminal window. I'm going to cd and then connect. Actually, I lied. I'm not going to do that. We are going to SCP into this. So SCP is secure copy. It's going to do it over 22, port 22. So we don't have to open anything else up. We just need to tack our let's cd back into AWS, and then we're going to SCP space -I space our key, and then we're going to do Kali at our IP address, which is what again? 44.196.44.167. Then we're going to colon, we're going to slash opt slash impacket slash silent trinity, and slash, if we go back down, we name this file stager.ps1. So we have told it what to copy. Now we need to tell it where to copy to. And I am just going to throw it in this temp folder that we have right here. Missed something there. I don't know what I mistyped, but let's just do that again. Just copy this, paste that. And then, oh, I didn't slash the first bit. I missed this. That'll do it every time. So let me go back here. Copy. And then go here, grab that, throw that there, and if everything works like we're supposed to, there's our stager. Okay, so now we got this stager, but there's one other thing that we have to do. We did not bind inside Kali the like public IP. So Kali just sees the private IP, which is 172.138.4.54. We're not gonna be able to get to that outside the network, or like basically from the outside. So we need to open up this PowerShell script, and we need to go to the very bottom. The very last line. And in here, we have to change the IP address that we're connecting to. So you see 172.31.54.4 or 31.4.54. We need to change this to 44.196.44.167. We can save that. And now we've kind of got everything for the most part ready. So all we're going to have to do is if we've downloaded those files from the share folder that we're going to share with y'all guys, all we need to do now is get the bash bunny. We need to put it into the arming mode and connect it in to our computer. And in just a few seconds, we'll see it pop up. There we go. We need to navigate into payloads, switch 1. And then normally you're just going to have a payload.txt. So let's just go ahead and delete these two files. You'll want to replace that payload.txt with the payload.txt that's in here. So we're going to do that. Let's just do this here. Bash bunny, switch 1. Okay. So we're going to grab this, throw this in here, and replace it. Now the .r file, if we remember, is going to be just this, exclusion path. So we're going to copy this one as well. And then this .p file, we're not actually going to copy this one over because that's actually the stager.ps1 file here. So what we're going to do is change this to p.ps1. We're going to copy it. We're going to go into here and paste it. And we want to just make sure that our code is doing what we want it to, which it is. And then basically we can deploy it. So I'm going to switch back over to the Windows box here. I'm going to restart it. And then once this is restarted, and I've talked about this before, I use a program on this box because this is my basically test box called Deep Freeze. And what Deep Freeze is going to do is it basically locks the computer into a certain state, and then you can do whatever you want on the machine, but every time you reboot it, it's going to revert back to that previous state that you've set. So if you just give me 1 second, I am going to just go ahead and log into this guy. So we're going to know that this is clean because when we first started this stream, we actually ran this script. So if it saved any information from the previous boot, then we'll be able to see that by just checking the tamper settings on this machine. So we'll do that real quick. And we see real-time protection is on, and if we scroll down, tamper protection is on as well. So perfect. So we know that this is a solid, kind of a clean install. We've got everything on that we need it to be on, and basically from here, we're going to deploy it. So we're going to the scenario we've basically socially engineered our way in. We basically, are telling them we just need to check our email to, download a, file off of our external hard drive or something like that, our flash drive, whatever the case may be. We're going to get into the office and we're going to plug the device in. So we're going to drop the Bash Bunny all the way down to payload 1. So if we can show that here. I don't know if you can see that, but it's basically all the way down. It's the last payload, or the last little kind of step in the 3 steps on the Bash Bunny. We're going to plug the device in, and we're going to hope that the proof of concept is working the way we want it to. And in just a second, you're going to see it pop up as a flash drive. There it is. It's going to go into the tamper settings. We're going to turn off real-time protection. We're going to also tab down and turn off tamper protection. Then we're going to open up PowerShell. And we failed because this computer did not open PowerShell fast enough. So this is one of the things when you've got a proof of concept. We may have to tweak our timing to get it to work correctly, but we're just going to turn on the real-time protection and tamper protection, and then try and run it again. Okay. So we're going to run this again. And then if this works, okay, so that didn't work. So what we're going to do is we're going to tweak the time on that step. So let's just do that real quick. Okay. Let's see if it works this time. There we go. So from 3 to 5 is really what we needed. And basically we've got our scripts that have run. So we're going to switch back here, and just go into this temp folder. Let's open this up. 44, 196, 44, 167, colon 443. Let's look at sessions. Come on. Nothing. Okay, so what happened? Let's look at our Windows box. We're getting a error performing key exchange, unable to perform key exchange operation using callback URLs. So we've got some settings that are incorrect somewhere. The question is where. If we look at our PS1 file, really the only place this could be wrong is here. 44, 196, 44, 167. Let's just do a ping 44, 196, 44, 67. Not responding to pings. So that's probably because the security rule. So let's go to security. We got 443 here. And we know that it's running. That we started it, because we can go to listeners and we have HTTPS, and if we list, we have it started. So what did we do wrong here? The answer, I think, is nothing. Let's try and run it one more time. Give me 1 second. I also want to make sure that I actually have the right file on the bash bunny. That could be the issue. calendar. Okay, so we're going to just go in here, go to stagers. And I'm going to select we're just going to do a standard PowerShell. Generate HTTPS. Okay, and then here we need to fix the IP. Save. Okay, so let's delete this one. Let's clean our Windows instance. Okay. All right. Now let's try this one. Not gonna lie, a little off script here. Haven't used the standard PowerShell. I always use the stage list. So let's see what happens. So this is failing too, which means that it can't talk back to 44.196, 44.167 for whatever reason. Always fun, always fun. What if we try listeners? Use HTTP. Start. Okay, list. Okay. Stagers. Use PowerShell stage list. Generate HTTP. Oh, it looks like we got somebody from Florida hanging out. What part of Florida? I'm originally from like Naples, which is like, I guess, kind of across the way from Miami. I actually was trying to find, there's like this dubstep song called Miami by who was it? Fat Man Scoop. That I wanted to try and get the rights for, but all the websites that I went to like purchase the rights to play it on stream, I could not find the rights for it. So it sucked a little bit, but you know. Alright, we're gonna try this, and if this doesn't work, chances are it's just probably gonna be blowing it up and doing it again. All right, last chance. If we don't work, then I'm gonna have to rebuild it off stream. Unless somebody in chat has ideas. Okay, well, that's new. sessions and list. Nothing. Well, we tried. I'm gonna try and rebuild this. I may even build it in like on the dark web, and then try again.
Another day, another dollar.
Oh, thanks for the follow, Data Snoke. Data Snoke. 1. Yeah, I don't know what we're having issues with here. But we were working and now we're not. So yeah, happens. Okay, well, other than that, is there anything anybody else wants to talk about, wants to kind of work through? I'm more than happy to do some other demos if we want. Close out some of the stuff. Hey. I do want to, I do have the Hack5 Land Shark that I haven't really got a chance to play with. Or Shark Jack? Sorry, Shark Jack. I haven't really got a chance to play with this, but I do have it. So I think I may want to do something with this and some nmaps, just with, you know, like utilizing open ports that are kind of available. So I think that we may kind of check that stuff out in the future. Probably this week. I would think that we're going to try and knock some of that out. I think that we're also going to go over Kubernetes and kind of build, like, go over like building a kind of a test network and a lab, utilizing maybe some Raspberry Pis with Kubernetes. I think that may be an interesting thing to try. And then, yeah, I mean, that's going to be pretty much it. If we don't have any other questions, comments, concerns, anything at all, just give it a few minutes. Have I done any work with K8s before? I've used the K3s before. We do have, so Jared and Andy, who are normally on the stream with us, that kind of do a lot of the cloud-based stuff. They do have some experience with the K8s version of Kubernetes. I don't personally, but we could probably have our stream. So like we do cloud hacking on Sundays. I'm trying to get some, some other like co-hosts and stuff to kind of work through like some beginner and intermediate level, like hacking tutorials, throughout the week. So maybe like a Monday we'll have like a beginner tutorial, and Thursday we'll have like a advanced tutorial, and then like our cloud hackings will typically be Sundays. So possibly next Sunday we can go over Kubernetes in the cloud, as well as Kubernetes locally, and maybe just do a little bit of a longer stream there. I think that may actually prove really beneficial for a lot of people, because you can kind of spin up that cloud instance as needed, kind of when you're working through stuff, and then kind of turn it down. And then you also have the ability to kind of just spin one up locally if you've got a couple of Raspberry Pis lying around, which I do. I think I have 3 or 4 Raspberry Pis lying around. So I'm going to definitely spin some of those up. I started working on it right before stream. So I have it kind of up and running. I haven't installed anything on it yet, or opened up any of the, like ports, to kind of access those, because there's nothing running on it yet. But I definitely think that I will end up, I will end up, doing some stuff off stream, and then kind of run through it together on stream. And it seems like there is a theme going on where every time I try to do it on stream, something breaks. So we'll probably go over the same process as we did today, which is get it working, show it off, build it, and then end up seeing that it's broken and try and fix it, but inevitably not fix it, and in the stream. So yeah, that'll be a thing. Hopefully next time it'll work better. I know that Andy and Jared are like super good with the cloud size stuff, and I'm pretty sure that I definitely missed something on the AWS side, because everything else seems to be working properly. But like hopefully having some of those guys here to kind of bounce ideas off of when it doesn't work may make it a little bit easier to kind of run through and show it off. So yeah, any other questions? I also really want to do like a 24-hour stream, probably Thursday night leading up to like DEF CON, where if we have the new badge firmware for the badges, we can do some kind of live badge challenge run-throughs, which I think might be pretty interesting. Right now there's nothing, because the firmware is just like the super basic firmware that basically is play, pause, mute, volume, next, and something else. I don't know what the other button does, but yeah, hopefully we can do some live badge hacking, do like a 24-hour stream, and if anybody wants to kind of jump in and talk shop during that time on Thursday, let me know in the Discord. We'll get you set up with a like a patch in, so you can kind of stop by, say hi, maybe talk shop, run through some exploits that you may have or that you may want to kind of build live on stream, we can do that as well. And then we'll just kind of run through that badge, the badge contest as we, just go through that 24-hour period of time. So yeah, I think with that, that's pretty much it for tonight, guys. I appreciate y'all guys spending the hour and almost 45 minutes with me. Definitely really appreciate it. Look forward to the next stream, and thank y'all guys for kind of sticking with me as we are kind of, doing this thing and kind of figuring it out together. Once again, really appreciate y'all guys' time. Y'all guys have a great rest of the Sunday, and hopefully look for another stream sometime this week. I'll try and get maybe a co-host or two to kind of talk shop and maybe do some beginner hacking. So thanks a bunch, and I'll see y'all guys soon.